you guys have? Are there people here that have like running their own businesses? Yeah, quite a few. Oh, that's awesome. It's fun and scary, eh? Anyone over their third year? Yeah, that third year is really horrible. For any of you who haven't got there yet, it's awful, but don't worry, you get through it. It's one of those ones you just got to hustle in. I'm at 6, so everyone tells me 7's really hard, so I'm just kind of going, it's going to be fine. And what sort of businesses have we got here? Have we got some hospitality businesses in here? Yep, awesome. Any retailers? Cool. Fashion, trades, services? Cool. B2B? It's quite an interesting one. Cool. I can talk about that a little bit. Social change. Awesome. What can you tell me a little bit about that?
Inclusion. Use a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Trying to disrupt how systems work to accommodate us.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so much fun. Yeah, we do some great work with, I suppose, in the social space, like with Junk Free June with the Cancer Society. And it's amazing. You can kind of like rally the support of people just through kind of building a community about things. It was really, you can do some incredible things through the power of social media, as we've seen with the ALFS Challenge. There's lots of stuff happening. That's the ice bucket one for people that missed that one. Yep. And by the way, check out the back of my head. I feel like an alien. Okay. If we get all the answers right, I'll do an alien dance. Okay, any questions? I'll get going. Jump in. So the first one, which a lot of people ask, is how do I choose the best social media platform for your business? And the answer to how do you choose the best social media platform for your business is quite easy, really. There's a couple of things you've got to take on. But the first thing is like, where is your community? So where are they? Are they all on Instagram? Are they all on Facebook? Are they all on Snapchat? Are they on Twitter? Are there any global businesses here? So like New Zealand businesses that are global? Cool. You probably don't need to worry about Twitter then, unless you're trying to influence politicians. So you would probably want to jump on Twitter and be tweeting all the politicians, especially around the Maori's stuff going on at the moment. But in general, Twitter for a smaller business isn't a massive one to put a lot of time if you've got a small amount of time. If you've got a lot of resource for social media, like go hard, do everything. But if you don't, just do one or two things really well. So in New Zealand, Facebook is kind of the king. It's really funny. Like there's 2.4 million people, I think, on Facebook every single day. The average Kiwi adult spends half an hour on either Instagram or Facebook every single day, which is out of 2 hours of internet time. It's pretty out there, which is really interesting. And we're the opposite to Australia. So in Australia, they spend, say we do like 1/3 on Instagram, 2/3 on Facebook. In Australia, it's the other way around. It's really interesting, which leads me to my next point. If you're on Facebook, then start having a look at Instagram if you've got a bit more time, because I think we're going to go that way. We tend to follow, I know it's sad, but we do tend to follow Australia. Not in the rugby though, it's okay. So yeah, if you've got a hospitality business, Instagram, that's your number one, probably more than Facebook, to be honest. What's your one?
Oh, I was just going to say, why is that? Like I've seen the trend as well.
Yeah.
My husband, he went on Facebook, but with the barriers that are put in place around, the reach and how many people, and then paying for the extra that. Is it because of that they moved to Instagram, or what is the actual reason businesses have moved to Instagram?
Well, I've got a theory, which is completely unproven.
Sorry, Wendy, might just play it back for the social feed. So the question was, why the migration from Facebook towards Instagram?
Yeah, so my personal theory on why we've moved from Facebook to Instagram is actually the power of key influencers. So as the traditional media channels are losing power, let's be honest, and if you think about, even if you look at stuff, half the articles are all about what's happening on social media, which is ironic. And you're getting the rise of other people taking over sort of like the power and being the voice of people. So in other countries, influencers are really, really powerful. So that could be a blogger or I've got friends who live in Asia, and they have like 7 or 8 million followers. It's crazy. And I've got friends who live in Queenstown with 11 million followers around the world. It's kind of nuts, but really awesome. But that sort of niche, because Instagram is so much better for influencers, people are tending to go there to kind of get their inspiration. Where Facebook's wanting to stay quite news focused. but it's not really working for them, in my opinion. Like, they try and be news like Twitter, and it's not quite there yet. They might get there, though. Yeah, they're just kind of different. That's why I think people jump into Instagram, because it's kind of inspirational and things, and you go into Facebook to catch up more with your friends and family, is what I'm seeing happen. Yeah.
For the social media Luddite, would you tell me what Instagram is? I've heard of it. It's got something to do with photos,
Yep.
and that's it.
It's basically an app on your phone.
So the question there is,
Sorry.
what is Instagram?
I can show you on my phone.
No,
Yes.
don't show it to me, because it'll just be pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
What is it?
Oh, and what is it? Oh, God, how would you describe Instagram? It's a really good question. So basically what it is you take a photo or a video and you upload it, and you can there's only two settings available. There's either public or private, very short amount of copy, and it's kind of tends to be very beautiful, inspirational images or videos. That's it. It's very simple.
Could it be described as Twitter for photos? Twitter's short text?
Yeah, no.
No?
In some ways it is, because you've got the public versus private, and with Twitter, it is shorter, and you can't do albums and things like that. So I suppose, and from a practical point of view, yes, but people use them really differently. And I suppose I'm always looking from the point of how do you use a social media platform, which is really important as a business owner. So on Facebook, you want to be on Facebook kind of, having sort of your BAU, your news announcements, new stuff that come on. Everything on Instagram should be quite inspirational. Beautiful, beautiful images. It's that real... People go on there and have like their perfect lives. It's amazing. My Instagram life, I wish I had it. That would be so great. But yeah, we all know that's another whole story we won't get into today. So where is your community? So yeah, this is a question I get a lot, is how do we get our posts out there without paying for them? And I can't put up a picture of a time machine, so I won't do that because that's rude. And there are actually other ways. But basically, it's really important to know that all the social media channels are monetising. And if you want to get a lot of reach, you do need to put some money into it. So just be prepared to have a budget. However, I've got a few tips and tricks as well, because at the end of the day, even when I'm doing stuff for my company, which is, by relative sizes, it's a relatively small company, I'll still always put like $10 behind every Facebook post that I do. And my theory is that if I've spent the time and I really want people to see it, I should be prepared to invest some money into making sure those eyeballs get there. Because on Facebook right now, organic reach is about 2%. So if you've got, 100 people that like your Facebook page, only 2 or 3 of them are actually going to see your post, which is why you don't get many likes now. Whereas back 6 years ago, I used to get 100 likes and it was amazing. So that's what's happened. It kind of went from 100, and then about 4.5 years ago it went to 60, then it went to 30, then it went to 16, and now it's sitting at 2 to 3%. So that's why your posts aren't getting the same engagement and reach that you used to get if you're on Facebook. Instagram's a little bit different. It's got ads in it as well, but seems to be getting a lot more organic reach. Is that helpful? Yay. I feel like I've won already. That's great. But here's some other ideas as well of how to get some extra bang for buck. So competitions, as we all know, I don't think you should always do them, but if you do what we call a comment to win on Facebook or on Instagram, sorry, can you see? There's, I've just got a picture here of Saline Rita, which is a clothing design store that my colleague Saline Chapman runs. It's like a bridal boutique, which is amazing. And she's got a little picture there of 2 dresses, 2 blue dresses, one on the left, one on the right, with a little oar in the middle. And up the top it says, "Our blue lace has been an absolute favourite this season. Tell us which style you liked it in best and you're in the draw to win it. Entries close at 7 o'clock this Friday." So real simple. People just go A or B or left or right. And that just gets people commenting really fast. They'll start tagging in their friends to also get the dress, and you'll get a lot more organic reach than you would without it. And it just costs you a dress, which could be more than putting $10 behind it, just saying. Anyway, yeah.
On that, what's your suggestion for how long you run a competition?
I reckon
Basically, it's here and now.
as a general, if it's quite a small prize.
Sorry,
Oh,
just
sorry.
to put it, here it
I'll
is.
get there by the
It's
end,
the benefit
guys.
of social. The question was how long to run a competition for.
Yeah, so how long to run a competition for? So in general on Facebook, if it's a reasonably, like a prize like a dress, like on the picture here, I'd probably do like if that was on a Monday, you'd do the end of the week on the Friday. If it was something like Spark's doing in the business, if anyone's not in the Spark Lab business Facebook group, you should all jump in. There's an incredible competition going on there at the moment, which includes like flights and accommodation and interviews with some incredible business minds. Like that's a really serious prize, and I think we're running that for about 4 weeks. Is that right, Chris? Yep. Yeah, 4 weeks, because that's like a big prize. Instagram, a good one to follow there as a bit of a inspiration is Superette. Superette's a clothing store, and they run these ones for like 24 hours, and they get like 1,000 entries. It's like mental. They're really good at running competitions. So on Instagram, shorter time period, so probably like a day, 24 hours, that's it.
Do you find there's particular industry sectors that, like for retail, for example, that works better for? Like, is useful for business-to-business relationships?
Do you want to do that one for me?
Do we find, are there certain verticals or industries that competitions work better for others?
Yeah, so basically I find anything like B2C, business to consumer, yes, and definitely retail, but also hospitality, anything product related. But well, if you look at the Spark one that's happening right now, that's business to business, so that's working pretty well. I think we've had 200 or 300 entries already, so I think it can work, definitely can work on business. It's just about, I think it's so important when you're choosing a prize, it's not just to like give away an iPad, unless you sell iPads, which would be okay. But you want to give away something that actually relates to your brand and kind of gives a sense of what your business is all about. So in this case, we're giving away, mentoring with some incredible business owners, so, business mentors, which is kind of fits where Spark is going. But if, they're giving away tennis rackets, it would be kind of weird. So,
Wendy, what's your view on professional compers? So when a competition is run, people that are entering it because they enter competitions as opposed to being part of the community or the target audience.
Oh, I hate them. Am I allowed to say that? They're so annoying. Like, I get it, and you can't legally ban them. But, yeah, I find them really frustrating. But it's an international problem. There's not much you can do about it. It's really funny. There's this, Facebook group with pretty much everyone who works in social media in New Zealand that we're all part of, and we know who all the compers are. So it's quite funny.
Is there a view, though, what percentage of competition entries are likely to be professional compers?
Oh, I'd say less than 0.5%.
Right.
That's really small. In New Zealand, I'd say there's probably about 40 or 50 of them. So it's not really huge numbers.
Great.
From a ethics perspective, do you think it would be okay to exclude those people from the competition?
So that's a question around the ethics of excluding people from competitions or not, if they're professional compers.
I don't think you can, unless you just can't. It's kind of a shame, but that's if they enter according to the rules, and they win. It's kind of like buying 10,000 lotto tickets. If most people only buy 5 and they buy 10,000, they're going to win more than the others. But don't take that up as a career, anyone. There's other cooler things to do. Any other questions before I move on? No, that's cool. The other awesome way to get reach and engagement without really paying for a lot is collaborations. And I'm really passionate about encouraging businesses to collaborate with other businesses on social media. And I've got an example up here of Body Boutique, which is a client of ours. And in terms of we're helping them with their social media, we're not doing it for them. And what they did is they went and talked to, they kind of do like nails and things like that. And they got a hairdresser on their same street, they got a restaurant on the same street, and they've got their nail bar, and they basically got together, put a prize pack together, and then they put this competition out which says, remember to enter the draw this Queen's birthday weekend, win yourself and a friend the ultimate pamper package. Like all 3 pages, you can do this, and comment with who you'd want to win with you. Each pamper pack includes a gel manicure at Body Boutique, wash and blow wave at Hair Illusions, dinner at Cove, total package worth $200. Entries close Monday, 6th of June at midday. We'll announce winner later that day. T's and C's apply. So what they've done there is got all their other businesses together, and they're all putting it out across all their social media platforms. So they're kind of getting likes and engagement, and everyone's getting to know. And that's just this little, little community on a street. I really encourage all businesses to think about who else is kind of complementary to you, or physically. In this case, they're just physically in the same areas. It's like a date night package. But I've also we've encouraged, like, say, for example, if you're in the wedding industry and you're a photographer, there's no reason why you couldn't get together with, a makeup artist and a florist and do something together, So think creatively. I think as Kiwis, we're actually pretty good at working together, but I could see a lot more of it on social media. Like, I think we go out to field days and stuff together, or trade shows, and everyone puts in together. But actually doing it on social media regularly is a really great way to save a lot of money and get some new business. Oh, yeah. Oh, and then this is the other thing, and I'll talk about it a little bit, is when you're looking at how to get your word out there without spending a lot of money, is to use friends, or use friends, get friends. And this here, we've got an example from F45 training, and it says, who's your gym buddy? Let us know, and you're both in the draw to win a free month membership with us. Entries close at noon on Friday. So what will happen is people will start to tag in all their mates, which is pretty cool. Note, it doesn't say tag in your friends, because that's illegal, and I'll talk about that, technically illegal, on Facebook. But on Instagram you can say tag in, but on here you can't. And what happens is they tag in, and then other people tag in, and then it just goes crazy. It's really fun. It's really simple. This works so well. I can't highly recommend this one enough. Also, if you're not, another just life hack tip for people in general is, if you're not planning to go back and look at the live stream, which is fair enough, take photos of your phone of anything you want to see. I just find I do that when I'm in presentations. Also, I don't mind if anyone tweets or takes notes on phones. Okay. So this kind of naturally goes into the question, which we got through, was what are the laws or the rules around tagging people in competitions? Because it can get a little bit tricky, and Facebook has changed its rules quite a lot, which they're allowed to do. And they never tell us, they just do it. It's great. And you're suddenly like, oh, and you've got like Spencer ringing up going, Wendy. I'm like, oh, sorry, I missed that one. But basically, you're not allowed to ask people to share something on Facebook. You're not allowed to ask people to share something on their page or tag in their friends. But that's it. It's like heaps simpler now. But there are ways around it. You just say, like that one back there, who's your gym buddy? Tell us. And people will just tag in their friends anyway. So it's great. There's always a workaround. I don't know. Probably some legal thing, I imagine. I imagine there's some legal ramification. But also they do want you spending money on advertising instead. Yeah, let's be honest, like that's how they make money. So if you do all of this big competitions all the time, like we used to do, all sorts of crazy ones before the organic reach got down, which worked really, really well. But on Instagram, anyone who's using Instagram right now, these rules don't apply. So you can ask people to tag them in. In fact, quite a good way is to go, for every 5 people you tag in, you get 5 entries. And the people will like just tag in like 30 friends. It's nuts. It's really cool. And then suddenly those people are all getting notifications about your brand. They're coming in and having a look at you. They're going through. On Instagram, people tend to they will look at your profiles. They'll go into your page and just see what sort of content you put out there. People don't do that on Facebook, so don't worry too much about your Facebook page too much. But on Instagram, make it look beautiful. Yeah.
Can that sort of backlash against your brand, where you get this stuff showing up? It's like, why and how come, and sort of a negative reaction to your brand?
Yeah. So the question, I remembered. I'm so proud of myself. Thank you. So the question was, if you have people turning up, if you're doing advertising to people that haven't opted in, do you get negative backlash? Like, why on earth is this turning up in my feed? It does happen, but to give you an idea, we do something like my team back at the office, they do something like 50 to 100,000 conversations a month, and they might get 1. Like, it's really, really low. Because on Facebook and Instagram, it's so easy just to go cross, this little cross at the top of every ad. And Facebook are pretty good at, in general, I think everyone's got heaps better at putting together really beautiful pieces of work now. And that's the one thing I'd always say, is do quality over quantity. Like, don't do the whole, I need to post, I think I've got it in here, but don't post 4 times a day. Just post once a week something really gorgeous, or twice a week, if you've got more time. But, so that's the laws. Any questions on laws and rules and things? Snapchat, there's no rules. Twitter, there's no rules.
Where do you find the rules?
Where do you find the rules?
Sorry. I need like a swear jar.
Yeah.
I'll do that for Dunedin, right. So where do you find the rules for Facebook and Instagram and all those? To be honest, probably the easiest way is to Google it. It's in the policy document, but it's really, really long. So I would just Google it and you'll find it straight away. I probably should put it up next time. But it's, just Google Facebook advertising rules. Facebook promotion rules is where you'll find it. And they're pretty good at keeping that up to date nowadays, which they didn't used to be. There used to be like just no rules, and it was like you have 10 different versions across the internet, and everyone's in the forums going, what's actually happening? I don't know, no, just make it up, which is great. Okay, so the best time to post and to boost posts was a question that came through. As I said before, with Kiwis, we're terrible. I think we're slightly more than, Australia might beat us like 1 or 2%, but we are on these things like a lot. We are crazy nuts. The interesting thing is, which I feel a little bit proud of, so across the rest of the world, if you look at into like social media use, like Monday to Friday, you've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all kind of flat, Monday to Friday, and then on Saturday and Sunday it peaks in the rest of the world. In New Zealand, it drops. Because we are awesome, which I like. It makes my life easier. But also, it shows that we do use our social media quite differently here. Like, we do get out into this beautiful country that we've got, which is kind of nice. So I would say concentrate during the week. I find the best responses in general I get on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But then saying that, when I'm talking to business owners, well, I should just be doing 3 a.m, shouldn't I? But 3 a.m, Sunday afternoons. Does everyone do the Sunday afternoon? Kind of put that time aside. Just know who your audience is. And what you can do on Facebook, this is really cool. I've got a screen up here. Under settings, you can go into, so in your Facebook page, you're under settings, and I've got a screen here that shows a graph of what time of the day people are on social media for this particular company. What's really interesting, like this one here, it says, there's a lot of people online at 6 p.m. at night, and hardly anyone at 2 a.m, which is good. Interestingly, I did this for a friend of mine. She's got a baby wear company, and it's like the opposite. So I was like, business owners and new mums, 3 a.m, see you there. So that's always fun. So if you go into your Facebook Insights under settings, Insights posts, you can actually see where everybody is, which is quite handy. And it's worth doing it then. Tips and tricks to encourage engagement. We've sort of talked through a few already, but I got told a really good one the other day, which I thought I'd share with you guys. And we were talking about, how you upload photo albums to Facebook sometimes? So if you put in an event or a sponsorship, sure we'll do one later today if there's a photographer around. Probably. Cool idea is when people go through and look and tag themselves in or whatever, they go through a photo album, they really look at them. So you can slide a little ad in there as they go through, maybe about every 5th or 6th one, like upload like a little offer or an ad. And it was an idea someone told me the other day, and I was like, that's genius, because you're so involved. You're not just kind of scrolling through, you're actually looking for things. Use that one. It's quite a good one. The other kind of thing is to really know your customers. I mean, you'll hear that from everybody, but it's that whole, Sir Ralph Norris, we fly people, not planes type thing. Like, know your customers, know what they're wanting, and put stuff out that's actually interesting. The thing is, they are interested in your business, so don't put up dolphins unless you're a whale-watching dolphin company. It's just so inappropriate. Every now and then, it's kind of funny. I'll have one of my big clients come to me and go, "Oh, we need more engagement." There we go. I've got this amazing video of the squirrel water skiing. And they're like, "Okay, I see your point." I was like, "Yes, you see my point." So it's really important to make sure whatever content you put out is engaging but also relevant to your business. Don't just put up a cat meme unless it's on your... Well, I mean, I love cat memes, but personal, not business.
There's a question, so Facebook has insights available on Instagram?
Yes, actually, I'm going to fast forward because I've actually got a little video of what they look like. Oh, how do I make that video? Is there some way to make that video, Brendan? Awesome. This actually is a little video here. It says Instagram Insights, and it actually is, it's of Saline Rita again. Thanks, Saline. And it kind of, I'll move myself back. You can go through and you can sort of see the reach, how many clicks to your website. It's got which top posts are on there. So it shows all the posted in the last 7 days, sorted by impressions, so between 1,000 to down to 300. How many followers, exactly what your followers are, so their demographics, where they're from. I love this one. It was like Auckland, Parnell, Western Springs, London. It was like brilliant. And followers, so what day they're on the most. So in this particular case for Saline being brideswear. Yeah, it's really, really interesting. And this is that video will just roll over, a little GIF that I made for you guys. But I just thought it was kind of really cool, Facebook Insights. Instagram Insights. The great thing about Instagram Insights as well is if you're looking at using influencers, like social media influencers, and you want to go out and go, hey, you look like you've got 10 million followers. I'd love to give you a free dinner if you can like put out in your social media profile. But you can actually ask them for their insights now, because that's really great if they've got, you might be in Hamilton and all their followers are in Dunedin. That's not really going to help you much. So it's that sort of, you can get these from Instagram key influencers now, which is really, really handy. It's really great. It's only been here for a couple of months now. It's great. Any other ones?
Thank you.
Shall I come back? I'll come back to them. I put a few things in here just in case. Oh,
Wendy,
yes.
do you think most small business owners don't know about the target customers or the niche market? They don't know about the insights, or they don't know how to read it?
So the question was, do most New Zealand business owners know about insights, or they don't know how to read it? I think it's really new. It's only like 2 months old. So I don't think enough New Zealand business owners know about it, and I would like everyone to jump in and have a look. It's really incredible. Reading them is actually super easy. It literally walks you through, and it's actually quite a beautiful interface. But I suppose the question would be, what's in there? No, it's pretty explanatory. I think it's pretty good. But if you have any questions, there's always people you can ask, which is good.
Yes, most of my customers, they use a lot of YouTube.
Yeah.
Go through the analytics to really analyze where the people is coming from to watch their videos.
Yeah.
We really grab those insights and analytics and put them apart and identify specific.
What's your business?
We do social media for small and medium businesses.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So ideally, we want to take care of, control of what they post, where they post, and I guess help them out.
Yeah. So the importance of the question sort of was the importance of really breaking down those analytics and understanding who's following you and understanding who your community is, because often it can be. There's understanding your community, but there's also listening and engaging with them. And one of the first things that made me go, oh my goodness, the social media thing is fundamentally going to change how people do business, was so small. It was like, so my husband at the time, he is still my husband, but gotta be careful. But he had we had this Pilates class that was really popular on a Wednesday night. And then suddenly we just had no one turning up. We're like, what's going on? We're like, okay, so we went out on Facebook. We're like, guys, we noticed no one's turning up to Wednesdays. And everyone's like, this is really embarrassing. This is a new TV show that started. And I was like, wow, okay, so should we move the time or move it to Thursday? And everyone's like, when we had votes on what people wanted, moving the time or moving it to Thursday. And we ended up moving it to the Thursday instead. But it was just that little, I was like, oh my goodness, there was no other way we would have found out that completely random piece of information without social media as a small business. There's just no way we would have found that out. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's, made us an extra $120 a week. Yes, all kind of adds up. So yeah, it's those little things, eh? If you can just get in there and go, people are part of your business, and I'm really passionate about this, is that your customers, like you can have a business if all you've got is customers, in my opinion, because that's all you really need. You don't even need staff, you don't need products, you don't really need an idea. As long as you've got a customer, that's where you start with everything. And understanding and growing with them, the rest of it all comes, and it just kind of turns up through collaborations, especially the way businesses are run nowadays. So,
Wendy,
yeah.
what's your view on, so there's insights on when audiences see posts when they're online and so forth, but how about the insights in actually getting the tills to ring, i.e. sales? And how effective is social media now to actually drive revenue?
It's pretty good. So the great thing is now with insights, one of the latest ones that Facebook have just brought out is what's it called? Footfall. Basically, they can tell through scary GPS that if someone's seen your ad and then goes into store and hopefully buys something, they will be able to give you that conversion. They've been able to give us conversion rates through social media for 2 or 3 years now. So literally from I saw your ad to I bought it on your website. But the problem always was, well, what if we've got a store, or what if we want people to do something that's not necessarily on a website? But if it's now, there's a cool name for it, and it's totally gone from my head. And my analytics guy will be like, shouting at the screen, Wendy, do you not remember? He's Russian. But yeah, there's that kind of, footfall. So they can tell when people go into your store after they've seen your ads, which is really interesting. That tracking's pretty good nowadays. You can really track it quite strongly.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we did before the footfall one, an example we did for Mitre 10 was we put up a post on Facebook about rugs, and it wasn't like a sales offer or anything, it was like just about rugs, and we only did it on Facebook. So we didn't do it on any other platform. And what we did there is we just measured the sales increase, and it increased by 40% for 3 weeks, which is like millions of dollars. And I was like, yes, I get to stay working with you guys. That was lucky. But yeah, so it really does work. It's just different for different businesses. Cool.
Oh, sorry, Wendy.
Sorry, you had a question. Someone had a question down here, sorry. And you had a question first. Sorry.
So I do work for a charity which puts computers and internet into the homes of families who have no internet and no computer.
Oh, fantastic.
So I'm interested in, so their sole connection to the world is typically a smartphone running on mobile data.
Yeah.
Typically low decile families, so it's prepay, expensive. Is there anything different about your story which considers that we are delivering solely across cell phones on mobile data?
So the question really was, if someone doesn't have like a desktop computer and they're just using their phone, is anything different? And I would say absolutely not, because 95% of social media is on phones. 80% of Facebook traffic in New Zealand is on phones. Instagram is only on phones, Snapchat's only on phones, Twitter, there's not really a lot of people there anyway. So most social media platforms are phone only. This is where it's mobile only, it's where it's going. So yeah, totally just social's where you want to be. Yeah. Sorry.
That's all right. Nice segue. So social's where you want to be. Does that mean that the website is dead?
No,
It's a great question, which is, if social's where you want to be, what's the role of a website?
I think it depends on your business. Facebook is definitely moving into trying to replace the website. Facebook has these really amazing little apps called canvases, which is like a mini website within an ad, and you can put in video, you can put in links, you can put in images, and that's where we used to make like a mini site up for a competition or a little promotion. We'd now just do a little Facebook canvas, and you can actually advertise to people, like send people to those canvases now through Facebook ads. So it's literally using it exactly like a mini site. It's incredible. So depending on what you're wanting to do, and then of course you've got Shopify, which is a shopping platform which uses Facebook. There's a couple of others out there that rely on Stripe, which is a payments platform that doesn't come in, it's still in beta, coming into New Zealand hopefully in the new year. But there's still lots of other things you can do. But I don't think the website will ever be dead, but I don't know. I'm not. If I knew what was going to happen, I'd be very wealthy. I'm not sure.
But what is your recommendation to clients? So if you're saying use social, what's your recommendation, therefore use your site to do what?
I suppose it depends on what you're... Like, when I look at my companies, it's kind of the information validation part of the marketing funnel. So if you look at your inspiration, acquisition part of the marketing, it's your marketing that's out there and trying to get people involved in your culture and ask them questions and all that sort of stuff. When you come to your website, I think that's your deeper information, it's your case studies, it's the validation. I think it's kind of where people go to just check you're actually who you are. So I think it's quite important. Do you guys agree with that? Yeah? I think it's sort of, you've got to have a decent mobile optimised website, please, because as we know, everyone's on mobiles, not on desktops anymore. Yeah.
What's your opinion on giving away something like a free ebook in exchange of an email subscription on a website?
Right, so the question was, check me out, so good. What was my opinion on giving away something like a free ebook in return for like an email address for a website? All those sort of lead generation things I think work really, really well. They're great. The great thing is, once you get someone's email address, it's pretty powerful. One, you can email them. Email is definitely not dead. It's pretty awesome. But two, you can upload it into social media platforms and actually retarget those people, which is pretty cool. And even better, you can actually... Okay, the coolest thing, which I love about Facebook and Instagram, are these things called lookalike audiences. Have you guys heard of those? I'll talk you through them. Like, they're amazing. Yes, it's advertising, so you have to spend a bit of money, but remember, it's Facebook advertising, so it's like $20 type money. So what you can do is you can upload your existing customer database of emails into Facebook, and it's super easy. It talks you through this process. And you end up with this, say you had like a database of like 500 people. Facebook is like, right, that's great. We've got 500 people here who are our customers, and we know that they love us and come to see us. Then what Facebook does, you literally push a button to run a lookalike audience, and it goes, here's 5,000 more people who look and behave like those 500 customers you've already got, which is pretty awesome. And then you can advertise to those. They don't tell you down to an individual level. They don't say it's Mary or John or Sally, but they do give you those people that are very similar, and every time I run those campaigns, the numbers are way higher than, because you can target by interests, you can target by demographics, you can target by like so many things, but the lookalike audiences always normally at least double or triple results that we get for anything else. Yes?
Wendy, talking about Facebook and Instagram, which are both owned by Facebook.
Yes, they are.
And then there was the segue into the why do we need a website, which gets me thinking about the other big beast in the room, Google and SEO, which we haven't touched in an hour.
No.
Still a thing?
It is, it's not, I don't consider it social media, so I'm not talking about it. Does it make sense? So the question was, why haven't we talked about SEO yet? Being that's Google, and Google is a social media platform. It's a digital platform, but like my company, we don't actually do search engine optimization or search engine marketing at all. It's so specialised. It's like a dark art.
So
it's amazing.
To frame that question, I'm a digital ignoramus, and I consider them one and the same. So
it's a great insight.
Your website, your social media, and your SEO, and everything to me is just one thing. So it's all this interlinking, unextricable thing together. And so if I have a Facebook post, shouldn't that naturally make my SEO better, and then people will turn up to my website and buy my cool stuff?
That's a great question.
Yeah, it's a really good question. So basically you've got, probably the easiest way to explain it is almost to explain back your question as I explain. So if the question sort of was like, if you look at like social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Google AdWords out there on the internet. So you're scrolling around, you're on stuff one time, you're on Facebook the next, you're on someone's website the next. Isn't it all kind of interrelated? Interesting thing is it's actually not that interrelated. So what happens is, like, if you get a lot of Facebook traffic to your Facebook page, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to help your Google ranking. They're not really that connected, as far as I know. There's basically, you almost need to focus on your social media as like building your community, listening to your community, doing all of that sort of stuff. And then when I think of search engine optimization and search engine marketing, that's more about new people when I think about it, or remarketing. Remarketing is when you go and look at a pair of shoes and they follow you around the internet for 5 days. So good. It's so dangerous. So that can happen across Facebook, and it can happen on Google as well. if someone set up their digital strategy correctly, and they should. Like, you should have both going. They're both so, so important. I'm personally, like, when I first started Socialites, like, to be completely honest, we did websites, email, SEO, social media and everything, just as people asked. And I very quickly realised that social media was such a big, crazy beast that we can only really be good at one thing. And I way prefer social media marketing. So that's where we've kind of gone. So you really do need to get someone to look after your search engine optimisation and search engine marketing as well. It's really important. But they are quite separate.
I think one of the things, because there's a couple of questions coming up on that vein, what we will do as a acquisition attempt to get you to check out our Facebook page is we'll post something that talks about if there is such a thing as the generic roles of website, social, search, optimization, so that there won't be a rule of thumb, but there might be a guideline so that more people can refer to that again in the future if that's helpful.
Yeah.
And as a little plug again, if there's questions like that would be helpful to have more information out of today or after today, please send that through on our feedback and also on the questions panel, and we'll make sure we post that back to the site.
Yeah, we could probably really easily get an SEO expert to come in. They're way better than me, that sort of stuff. Actually, great.
Just a quick one, LinkedIn. Is it anything more than just a professional validation? Is it really a B2B sort of thing?
I haven't, LinkedIn, in terms of like acquisition as opposed to just kind of validation and thought leadership, I haven't seen a lot of acquisition.
They try hard, but it doesn't seem to ever they try and get into the, like, for example, placement and the jobs and stuff like that, but it doesn't seem to, it seems to be, it's great for validation. Everybody can find anybody and find out the guts of their career, etc., but I just wondered.
Yeah, I think LinkedIn's going to be probably the one to watch, especially for all you B2B people out here, because it just got bought by Microsoft a month or so ago. And I don't know if any of you guys have noticed, but I've already had it pop up when I have if I have a meeting with someone, through my Outlook, it goes, I now get a little notification, you met this person yesterday, would you like to connect with them on LinkedIn? Awesome. Really handy. But I think there's going to be some really, really interesting developments in that space. Right now, I feel like it's at that kind of, it's Facebook 2 years ago. It's not quite there. It's really good if you're a big, if you're like Spark and hiring like thousands of people, incredible for recruitment. It's got some really amazing tools. Very good for thought leadership and just establishing your brand if you're in the B2B market. And the great thing is, what I do love about LinkedIn is you can kind of put those sort of longer video pieces. Saw a really interesting piece of research the other day that showed, especially if you're talking to kind of the CFO, CMO, high-level corporate people, they watch something like double as much video as anyone else on LinkedIn. So use video, which is, if that's your target market. I'm a big fan of video in general. Also, another big tip, if you're doing video, do captions, which I imagine everyone would like. Now, the great thing is Facebook's starting to do captions already, which is great. But if it's always worth putting captions on, because most people will start to watch because, it's 2 a.m. in the morning and you're just like, let's have a little look. The funny thing is, so I did, so it's great, is in Australia, they're testing having autoplay sound on Facebook. And everyone hates it, so it's just not going to last. But yeah. Yes, sorry, I'll just grab your question first.
Should you change the style of post that you're doing? Like, say, if you're using Facebook, LinkedIn and Instagram, should each post be a different style to suit?
So the question was, if you are using like the same sort of content, but across Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, etc., should you change the style? Ideally, yes. If you're a small business owner and you don't have a lot of time, just do what's practical, link it. Like, if you really don't have time, it's more important to get it out there. But ideally, yeah, you do. And you want to kind of think about what's practical. So in Instagram, you use hashtags for everything. It's kind of like how people find cool stuff and collect stuff. But on Facebook, you don't tend to, unless you're being ironic, which takes a very level, skilled social media marketer to use those. Or someone that's forgotten and just done it accidentally, wasn't thinking. I like to pretend it's the former sometimes. But yeah, ideally, yes, but don't beat yourself up if you don't have time, would be my advice.
Do ad blockers present a threat to social media?
Do ad blockers present a threat to social media? I mean, technically they do. I don't think a big enough threat to stop social media, to be honest.
I guess the question is how much content on a social media page is pushed by ad blocking mechanisms in the back
Well, a lot
After
if
they disappear, if I switch an ad blocker on,
yeah, you'll lose a lot of it
so
if
it
you.
does present a threat. 'Cause- oh, sorry, how much of my content?
Right. Okay. So.
will be blocked?
So if you're a business, from a business point of view or from a personal point of view?
Both.
Okay. So if you're a personal person, you're like, if you're a personal person, wow, sorry.
Versus someone pushing content.
Yeah. So if I was Wendy, and I put on ad blockers, I'd have a very different experience. I wouldn't have my shoes following me around. I wouldn't see a lot of posts from brands that I follow, because most of them are sponsored. So I would have quite a different experience. As a business owner, I don't think it's a big enough threat to be worried about. Like, they're just not enough people are using them. Really cool story though, just on ad blockers, which, how are we doing for time?
Another 5?
Okay. Amnesty International did an amazing campaign with ad blockers around the world where they actually, which I thought was great. How did it work? They actually had going, if you were, they used ad blockers to say if you were in these particular countries or whatever, this would have happened to you. And they did it through ad blockers, which I thought was really ironic because it was an ad on ad blockers. So it's kind of, the rules are all changing. Social media still is a bit of a wild, wild west, which is kind of fun. But yes, any other questions? If we've only got 5,
Yeah,
otherwise I'll keep going forever.
albeit it's the Wild Wild West, if you are running multiple platforms,
Yes.
what's the best tool to manage multiple platforms? Is it Hootsuite? Is there others?
Yeah, I really like Sprout Social personally. Sprout Social's a good one. Hootsuite's a great one. Both of them are kind of really good in New Zealand. But also, I think if you're a smaller business owner, the native just apps are really, really good. You can now do drafts on Instagram. I've got one of my, probably don't have time to talk about bots. Got so much stuff in here. I over-prepared. Instagram drafts. So you can now basically schedule your Instagram drafts through Instagram. Plus you can schedule your Facebook posts. And if you're only using Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, you can kind of schedule everything just using those. And then if you download the Facebook Pages app onto your phone, that means you can stay in contact way easier than actually even logging into your desktop. I find personally, I almost use that more than I use any other, unless I'm setting up really massive big campaigns. I would personally just use my own phone. Yes?
In the social media space, do you have any recommended training courses, programs that people who might be interested in taking, whether it's online and class?
Am I allowed to plug my own company here? This would be great. So the question was, are there any online courses or training programs? There are depending on your style of learning. The one that I've just started 6 months ago, I've kind of launched, it's just in beta. It's called Start Social, startsocial.nz. And it's a really cool program that basically is by category. So if you're in hospitality or if you're in B2B or if you're in services, and it's a course for, it's literally a course for everything you need to know from a small business owner's perspective. Plus it has live chat with my team at Socialite. So you're actually talking to literally the best in the biz as you need it. I'm really passionate about helping small businesses because I look back to how I started, but also I'm a big believer in, if you can get all of New Zealand businesses using social media just that little bit better, it's just going to raise everybody up, raise up our economy. And we're not doing great on social media compared to the rest of the world. We've got a little way to go. And I think it's because we're all not using it in the weekends, but I don't want to stop that. So,
why do you think that is, Wendy? Because we heard a stat recently that there's about 50% of New Zealand small business that use a website.
Yeah.
And there's only 16% of New Zealand businesses, small business, that have a website and social media. So the vast majority don't
have social media.
Why do you think that is?
I think a lot of it is just feeling confident, just getting out there and just feeling some of these questions that we had up tonight, and the most common ones that I get, they're like, well, why aren't my Facebook posts getting engagement, or how often should I be posting? And I think if you've got someone there to say, hey, you're doing a great job, and why don't you try this? Just a little bit of training and a bit of help. We're pretty DIY. We like to get out and give it a go. But with social media, it is a commitment. That's the one thing. You can't just do a course and then set and forget. You know, you really can't. In fact, one of the reasons I've set up my course online is because we're updating it almost every 2 or 3 days because social media changes so fast. So you kind of need to like get going, get into it, enjoy it. Easier for me because I really, really love it. And then once you get going, you start to get those insights from your customers and you see the change in your business. That's when people kind of like, that's when I really think you click. It's not so much about acquisition, it's not so much, which is important, but it's actually about connecting with your customers and getting those insights back into your business, and that's how you grow really strong. And that's what I'd really encourage everyone to do on social media, and why you should get into it. But yeah, does that help? But startsocial.nz, it's really good. Love to have you guys in there.
And any other brands you would suggest worth following to learn from? So if we said best practice or best in class in New Zealand for the room to follow, so they get a sense of use of data, use of marketing, posting?
Yeah, there's some great ones out there. Kind of the obvious ones. Air New Zealand's really good, obviously, as you know.
And why is Air New Zealand good?
I think they're really engaging, like little kind of surprisingly cool, very on-brand little videos they do a lot of. So even when and they're very creative, so when they did sponsorship of the Hawke's Bay Marathon, they didn't just go, yay, we're sponsoring the Hawke's Bay Marathon. They turned like a trolley into like a drinks trolley. And they did this really cool little video about it and like had this drinks trolley roll up with giving out water and things. And it was just very engaging and really fun. And they've got their, Air New Zealand Ferry on Twitter and things like that. Who else is really good? Do have a look at Mitre 10. They've got a very engaged Facebook page. It's quite retail-y, but it's very, very engaged. Everyone's talking about DIY and helping each other out. And that level of engagement is incredible. On Instagram, Super It. I know it's like a little retail store, but they're incredible at it. What else is one other? Snapchat?
I think it might be worth mentioning Spark Lab Facebook page, because I think the results on that have been incredible in a very short space of time. Yeah, that's a really good one. So if you go into Facebook, and I think everyone here should totally get out their phones right now and join the Spark Lab Facebook group. In fact, we should get a photo up of it. I'll get it for next time. The Spark Lab Facebook group. It's basically a group of New Zealand business owners and managers and people involved in New Zealand business, and it's really, really cool. We've got over 1,000 members in just over 2 weeks, which is incredible. And what's really cool about it is you've got all these experts in there. Like, unfortunately, you get me as well, but you also get real incredible ones as well, like Andy Hamilton from Icehouse and a few other really cool people in there. Business strategists, and everyone's just kind of helping each other out. And I've seen quite a few sales. Someone sold a table last week. It's interesting. So jump into that page. It's a really nice, supportive Facebook group for Kiwi businesses.
Wendy, you've mentioned big companies. New Zealand's,
nation of small and companies.
Who's best practice for small, very dynamic?
Right, so the question was, who's best practice for a small company that's really dynamic? The first one that comes to mind for me, just because I've had it up here already, is Saline Rita. Across all platforms. She's really, really cool. That's why I slightly poached her to come and help me out with some stuff. Who else is really good? Bluebell's Cakery. Bluebell's Cakery on Instagram. Very, very good. Who else is really cool? I'll post some in the group, get you guys in there. But there's some really great little businesses around there.
We are on time. So we need to finish. Is anything in wrapping up that's worth touching on now before we... I think one of the difficulties, but Wendy's traversed it wonderfully, in a session like Facebook or social media training, always the interest in the room is really diverse, from people that are using it sophisticatedly versus a really great question, which is, what is Instagram? So we operate in between those two ends. And so in an hour, there's only so much we can touch the surface of. The wonderful thing, though, about our Facebook group is we can post up a lot of the best practice articles, reference, case studies, examples, guidelines, which will follow out of today. So if there's any questions that haven't been answered, or indeed that you haven't asked but would love responses to, please use the Mobi site, flick them through, and we will post them back up. And you'll see Wendy on the site, so you'll know who it's come from.
Yep, I'm always in there going, hey. I've got heaps more I could talk about, but if we're out of time, we're out of time. and I'll be around for later on.
Fantastic.
Cool.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been our great privilege having you here today, particularly those that came this morning at 7 a.m. and then have backed up again for this session. There is a third session which is on later on this evening, which is a wonderful, wonderful presentation by a business mentor come business consultant specialising in the small business space. Very entertaining, very enigmatic. If you have the opportunity to come along, I really would highly recommend it. As I mentioned in the Moby site that you came in on, the final opportunity, if it's of value, is that there's a field there which is our opportunity to connect you with someone from Spark if you would like in-depth information on anything else related to, yes, social media, but also technology as a whole. Cloud, Wi-Fi, the ability to connect, what it can do from the business space. So a wonderful opportunity to be there. So a huge thank you, Wendy, for making the time and an incredibly insightful presentation. So if you don't mind joining me to say thanks. And also to all Spark customers in the room. And the reason I say that is that the only reason that we've managed to put on 150 of these events, and the only reason that it's now touring throughout New Zealand is a Spark customer asked for it, and a second Spark customer said, actually, that really would be helpful. And consequentially, we have Spark Lab now going into its third year. So thank you if you're in the room. It really is making a difference. We would really treasure your feedback. So if there's things today that you'd want to give us feedback on, things you'd like to see in the future, if you'd like us to come back, what topics would you like to hear from, what else can we put on the site, please take the opportunity, 2 minutes to let us know that. And once again, thank you for coming this morning. Those that came to the first session, there was a little whoopsie moment that we had in the car park where people were given parking tickets. I just want to rest assured that that'll be taken care of. They'll be nullified. And the person to see is at Nikki, who with the fare here as you walk out. We'll make sure that's all taken care of. And we would love to see you back again. Thanks very much.
Thanks guys.